Good afternoon, everyone, especially to you, Mom. Today, I will tackle to you the Bretton Woods system and its significant contribution in the process of globalization. The Bretton Woods system of monetary management established the rules for commercial and financial rotation among the United States, Canada, Western European countries, Austria, and Japan after the 1944 Bretton Woods Agreement. The Bretton Woods system was inaugurated in 1944 during the United Nations Monetary and Financial Conference to prevent the catastrophes of the early decades of the century from reoccurring and affecting international terms. After the World War II, the world leaders start to create global economic system that would ensure long-lasting peace. So, after sa World War II, nagpa-meeting sila, mayroon sila sang meeting nga tanan sa mga sa buong mundo na meeting. So, there are 730 delegates in and 44 different countries. So, in order to prevent another war, they created the Bretton Woods system. So, after nila nga mag-meeting, they have the Bretton Woods system. So, dyan po nagmula ang the Bretton Woods system. The purpose of the Bretton Woods meeting was to set up a new system of rules, regulation, and procedures for the major economies of the world to ensure their economic stability. To do this, Bretton Woods established the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. So, ang layunin ng Bretton Woods is mag-set up ng mga bagong patakaran, regulasyon at pamamaraan para sa mga pangunahing ekonomiya ng mundo upang matiyak ang kanilang katatagan sa ekonomiya. This system was largely influenced by the ideas of British economist John Maynard Keynes, who believed that the economic crisis occurs not when a country does not have enough money, but when money is not being spent and thereby not moving. So, sabi ni Keynes, magkakaroon ng crisis ang isang bansa hindi dahil wala silang pera, kundi dahil hindi ito nagagastos o hindi ito napapaikot ng mabuti. So, si John Maynard Keynes is siya ang representative ng British. So, sa kanya nanggaling yung idea ng Bretton Woods system. According to this British economist, John Maynard Keynes, when economies slow down, the government have to encourage or have to reinvigorate markets with infusion of capital. This active role of governments in managing spending served as the anchor for what would be called a system of global Keynesianism. So, the Bretton Woods system have two financial institution. Meron silang dalawang financial institution. First, we have the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, or the World Bank. It is responsible for funding post-war reconstruction projects. Also, ang World Bank lends money to the poor countries for economic development. Nagapautang na sila sang kwarta sa mga pobre nga mga countries para sa ilang economic development, further economic development. Next, we have International Monetary Fund. International Monetary Funds, the global lender of last resort to prevent individual countries from spiraling into credit crisis. So, ang monetary fund works with countries having problems in money or in debt. Sa mga utang, trabaho sila, works with countries nga may mga utang kag may mga problema sang kwarta. For example, ang Pilipinas karon kay di ba may COVID man karon, so ang Pilipinas nagutang sang kwarta sa World Bank. So amo nang ila obra sang World Bank nagapautang kwarta sa mga pobre nga mga bansa.
Good afternoon everyone, this is my report. The General Agreement on Tariffs and the World Trade Organization. According to the PEET 2003, global trade and finance was greatly affected by the Bretton Woods system. One of the systems born out of Bretton Woods was the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade that was established in 1947. GEET was formed from the meaning of representatives from 23 member countries. It focused on the trade goods through multinational trade agreement conducted in many rounds of negotiation. However, it was out of Uruguay around 1986 to 1993 that an agreement was reached to create the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade. Ito ay isang ahensya ng United Nations o UN ng isang konsunduan ng maraming nasyonalidad upang itaguyod ang kalakalan sa iba't ibang parte ng mundo. Sa pamamagitan ng pangbabawas nito ang mga taripa at mga kwota ng pag-i-import ng mga kalakal at iba pang mga protekto. Who is the General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade GEET related the World Trade Organization WTO? The General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade GEET covers the international trade in goods. The working of the GETT agreement are the responsibility of the Council of Trade in Goods, which is made up the representative from all WTO members countries. Again, this community consists of all member countries. Who is General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade related to the WTO? Ang pagkakaroon ng GETT sa World Trade Organization ay may malaking epekto sa ating kalakalan pang-internasyonal. Ito ay nagbibigay trabaho o job employment at pagpaunlad ng komunikasyon at transportasyon at iba pang makabagong produkto sa iba't ibang bansa.
The International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. What is the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank? The International Monetary Fund and the World Bank were founded after the World War II. Both are designed to complement each other. This institution aimed to help the economic stability of the world. What is the International Monetary Fund? International Monetary Fund is an international institution headquartered in Washington, consisting 190 countries. It works to foster global monetary cooperation, financial stability, facilitate international trade, and promotes high employment and sustainable growth, and reduce poverty around the world. World Bank is an international financial institution that provides loans and grants to the governments of low and middle-income countries for the purpose of pursuing capital projects. The aim of this institution is to help the economic stability of the world. Most of the world countries were members of the institution to support the financial stability of their economy. The main goal of the International Monetary Fund was to help countries which were in trouble and countries who could not obtain money by any means. So in this case, International Monetary Fund has a big impact in the world economy because it served as a leader in world's economy.
Hello everyone, I am Rosemary Silvestre Pedregosa. I am a reporter of History of Global Market Integration. So, what is global market integration? Before the rise of the days modern economy, people only produce for their family, but nowadays economic demand the different sectors to work together in order to produce, contribute, and exchange products and services. What this shift in the way people produce for their needs? In order to understand this, we will be going in time 12,000 years ago. History of global market integration in 19th century. So substantial advance in integration and the creation of the truly world economic technological advance was critical in this telegraph system were established in most century, including the major market of British India until 1854. Global market integration shall increase financial and economic efficiency and lead to the higher economic growth. So, ano nga ba ang global market integration? Bago ang karera ng modernong ekonomiya, ang mga tao ay gumagawa lamang para sa kanilang pamilya. Ngunit sa kasalukuyan, hinihingi ng pang-ekonomiya ang iba't ibang sektor na matulungan at maayos upang makabuo ng ambag at mapagpalitan ng produkto at serbisyo. So what is the purpose of global market integration? The purpose of global market integration is to provide a number of social benefits, including broadening the range of financial services and investment opportunities available to consumers and increase competition in the provision of those services. Ang layunin ng global na pagsasamang merkado ay upang makabigay ng isang bilang ng mga benepisyo sa lipunan, kabilang ang pagpapalawak ng saklaw ng mga serbisyong pampinansyal at pagkataon. What is the type of global market integration? So there are 5 types of global market integration. Number 1, horizontal integration. This occurs when a firm of agency against control of other firm of agencies performing similar marketing function at the same level and the marketing sequence. Number 2, vertical integration. Vertical integration is the combination in one company of 2 or more stages of product normally operated by separate companies. Number 3, merger, a combination of 2 things, especially companies, into one. Number 4, post-merger integration, PMI is a complex process of combining and rearranging business to materialize potential efficiencies that usually motivate merger and acquisition. Number 4, takeover. Takeover, an act of assuming control in something, especially the buying out of one company into another. Number 5, and lastly, external growth. External growth usually involve a merger or takeover. That's all.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Silene Jane Miranda, and I was assigned to discuss to you the Agricultural Revolution and Industrial Revolution. Before we go further discussions, let's define agricultural and revolution first. Agricultural. It is from the word agriculture, which the art and science of cultivating the soil, growing crops, and raising livestock. It includes the preparation of plant and animal products for people to use and their distribution to markets. Agriculture provides most of the world's food and fabrics. Revolution. It is an instance of revolving or rotation. According to Pomeranz 2000, the first big economic change was the agricultural revolution. When people learned how to domesticate plants and animals, they realized that it was much more productive than the hunter-gatherer societies. This became the new agricultural economy. So these hunter-gatherer societies, these are cultures in which human beings obtain their food by hunting, scavenging, fishing, and gathering wild plants and other edibles. Farming helped societies build surpluses, meaning not everyone had to spend their time producing food. This, in return, led to major developments like permanent settlements, trade networks, and population growths. For your information, I have made a research about permanent settlements, trade networks, and population growth. Permanent settlements, there are three systems. These are Zamindari, Rayatwari, and Mahalwari. Trade networks, it is the action of buying and selling goods and services between a company and another company, or between companies, many companies rather. And then population growth. It is said also that population growth is a result of agricultural revolution, because population growth does some have benefits over population. More people means more labor force. It can produce more things and more people will buy the products. And also, I have made a research about the leading countries of which they export and import their products. The leading country is the United States. Their commodity is corn, and the percent of their global export is 26%, or costs $7.6 billion. The next leading country is China. Their commodity is fish. The percent of global export is 9.2%, which costs $6.6 billion. Next is the Indonesia. Their commodity is palm oil. The percent of global export is 51%, which costs $10.4 billion. Next, leading country is rice, Thailand. Leading country is Thailand, and their commodity is rice. Percent of global export is 34.5%, which costs $6 billion. Of course, here in the Philippines, we also export products. We have top agricultural exports, which includes coconut oil, bananas, pineapple and pineapple products, mango, shrimps and prawns, and tuna. Next, let's proceed to industrial. Let's define it first. Industrial revolution. Industrial. It is something relating to a large-scale business or a manufacturing business. The second major economic revolution is the Industrial Revolution of the 18th century. With the rise of the industry came new economic tools like steam engines, manufacturing, and mass production. Steam engines, these are machines used for pumping water out of rivers. There are basically two kinds of steam engines. First, the reciprocating engine and the steam turbine. Manufacturing. Manufacturing is the making of goods by hand or by machine that upon completion the business sells to a customer. Mass production. It is manufacturing of a large quantity of standardized products, often using assembly lines or automation technology. Factories. It popped up and changed how work functioned. Instead of working at home where people work for their family by making things start to finish, they began working as wage laborers and become more specialized in their skills. So if farming is the occupation upon agricultural revolution, so factories for industrial revolution. However, every economic revolution comes with economic casualties. The workers in the factories, who were mainly poor women and children, worked in dangerous conditions for low wages. As a result, 19th century industrialists were known as robber barons. With more productivity came greater wealth, but also greater economic inequality. Robber barons. This is a person who has become rich through ruthless and unscrupulous business practices. In the late 19th century, labor unions began to form. So this is the solution for the robber barons, the labor unions. This organization of workers sought to improve wages and working conditions through collective action, strikes, and negotiations. Inspired by Marxist principles, labor unions gave way for minimum wages laws, reasonable working hours, and regulations to protect the safety of workers. That could be all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, classmates. So, I am Abel Octavio, the assigned reporter for the Capitalism. So, let me start. So, capitalism. There were two competing economic models that sprung up around the time of Industrial Revolution. So, as capital become more and more important to the production of goods. So, ito na yung capitalism and socialism. So, capitalism is a system in which natural resources and means of productions are privately owned. So, halimbawa, dito sa privately owned na sinasabi, kapag ikaw yung person na nagmamayari mismo ng company or ng business, kumbaga, sarili mong ginastos or sarili mong perang nilaan doon para doon sa business. So, capitalism also emphasizes profit maximization and competition as the main drivers of efficiency. So, ibig sabihin nito, kapag yung isang tao nag-own ng business, kailangan niyang i-outperform yung competitors niya if he is going to succeed or not. So, kailangan niya rin maging efficient para i-improve yung business na pinatayo niya. Kailangan niya rin mag-reduce ng prices. So, halimbawa dito is nagpatayo ka ng milk tea. So, kailangan mong i-high yung quality ng milk tea mo, ng product mo. Kailangan mo ding i-reduce yung prices ng milk tea mo. So that may chance na dadami yung customers mo because of its high quality but low price. So the economist Adam Smith in the 1770s called the invisible hand of the market. So, yung idea ni Adam Smith is tinatawag niya, if that lives sa capitalist economy alone, so yung customers magre-regulate things themselves by selecting goods and service that provides the best value. So in practice, however, no, yung economy pag hindi nag-work or hindi maganda yung kinalabasan, if it is left completely on autopilot. So maraming sectors yung hindi nakikisama or hindi nakikihalo-bilo. Kumbaga, hindi nakikisosyo. So ito yung or magli-lead siya doon sa tinatawag ng economist na market failure. So, where an unregulated market ends up allocating goods, service, and efficient. So, kung pag sinabi kasing inefficient, hindi yan siya hindi yan siya maa-achieve or yung hindi maa-achieve yung maximum no productivity. So, for example, yung monopoly, example natin siya as a kind of market failure. So, kapag yung company, walang kakompetensya or walang competition para doon sa customer, so it can charge into higher prices. So, it can charge to higher prices without worrying the losing of customers. So, as a location, a monopoly becomes inefficient. Kasi nga, di ba, pag sinabi natin inefficient, hindi maa-achieve yung maximum ng productivities, no? So, at least on the customers. And so, in situations like this, yung gobyerno, maaari naman himasok doon para i-force yung company na yun para to break up into smaller companies para ma-increase yung competition. So, yung market failures na tulad nito, no, nagiging rason kung bakit yung isang country hindi nagiging pure capitalist societies. So, halimbawa, yung United States, no, yung federal and state governments nag-own and nag-operate ng number ng businesses tulad ng mga schools, postal service, and the military. So, yung governments, magsiset sila no minimum wages, mag-create sila ng workplace safety laws, and magpo-provide sila ng social support programs tulad ng unemployment benefits and food stamps. So, that's all. If you have any question or any clarification, just ask later after our presentation. So, that's all. Thank you.
Socialism. In socialist economy, government are charged with redistributing the wealth of the country and narrowing the gap between the rich and the poor. So, ang main purpose or goal nitong socialism ay ang equality between the rich and the poor. Ibig sabihin, lahat tayo ay may karapatang magbenepisyo sa yaman ng ating bansa. It is an economic and political system under which means of production are publicly owned by the government to sustain the needs of the people. It emphasizes collective goals, expecting everyone to work for the common good, and placing higher value in meeting everyone's basic needs than on individual profit. Examples of these are price control. So, example, yung inspection or survey sa palengke ng mga presyo ng gulay, karne, bigas, at iba pang pangunahing bilihin. So, ginagawa ito ng gobyerno para maiwasan ng overpricing. Nang sa gayon, ay lahat ng tao ay ma-afford ang bilihin na kailangan nila sa araw-araw. Another example of this are the assets that are owned by the government or cooperatives like Meralco, Cotelco, at iba pa. And then healthcares are provided by the government also, tulad ng PhilHealth. And another example of this socialism are 4Ps, Agrarian Reform Program, and Pag-ibig Housing Loans.
I'm Mrs. Joy Pilgatis. This is my report about the information and revolution. The information and revolution is a period of change that might prove as significant to the lives of people. Computer technology is at the root of this change, and continuing advancement in the technology seem to ensure that this revolution will touch the lives of people. Computers are unique machines. They help to extend the brain power. Computer robots have been replacing blue-collar workers. They might soon be replacing white-collar workers as well. Computers are merely devices that follow set of instructions called computer programs or software that have been written by people called computer programmers. Computers offer many benefits, but there are also many dangers. They could help others, invade one's privacy, or wage war. They might turn one into button pusher and cause massive employment. User-friendly system can be easy used by untrained people. The key development that made person computer possible was the invention of the microprocessor chip at Intel in 1971. The lecture review conducts for the theoretical framework. Relieve that market integration is a complex concept. The most basic vision of the market integration is known in the literature as the law of one price, which is dichotomous in nature. Markets are either fully integrated or not all. Measuring the degree of the integration on the continuous scale is a more sensible approach, which is achieved by using the price transmission ratio. It is the practical to separate price transmission into three components, measuring the degree of movement, the speed of adjustment, and the asymmetry in price response, respectively. Furthermore, one needs to keep the distinction in mind between competitive equilibrium and market integration. This directly relates to the available data, as it requires both price data and information on trade volumes. Revolution. Naga-inform siya sa mga revolution during a period time. Tapos, naga-change siya sometimes din prove it as significant. To a people, ginapamatuad niya sa mga tao nga ang mga gadget or computer technology ay isa sa dahilan kung nga ga-change gapadayon kag or advance ang mga tao sa pag-inform about sa revolution period.